Hello, everybody. What a great time to spend time with you. 30 minutes concerning your mind as you feed your body every day. So we've got to feed our mind. This is the purpose of the Mental Toughness Forum, is to give you some food for thought. That's it. Give you some food for your mind so that you can think. So welcome. I know there's new people. Every time people are joining in because we receive these emails. So I'm going to start with the agreement. The first agreement is this conversation doesn't uh, portray a political view. I'm not going to give my opinions. I'm not going to speak about the coronavirus except if it's something that bothers your mind. And this is not a religious talk, although I believe in God. And if some of my stuff comes over and you think it's religion, it's not. It's simply my belief that I want to share, because that's the only thing I can do. I can't speak perfectly for you. I can only speak who I am. So thanks for that agreement. Second thing, for new people, we are being taught from childhood to become spectators in life. That means to sit in the stands where you're safe. You're not taking part in anything. You are safe. You are watching other people living life or doing something. The safest place in the world is watching. However, you don't want to complete your life as a watcher. You really want to live life to the fullest. You want to feel the adrenaline of being in the arena. And that's my goal or my challenge for you, that you will take part in this session. I'm going to speak about synergy. I'm probably not this week again, but maybe next week. The power of synergy is incredible. It will take you far beyond where you as an individual can ever go. And thereby, I say to you, your synergy will make me better. So I ask you, just practice it. I know it's for me that I'm asking right now, but it will change you. When I say something and you agree with it, just mention something. Say, oh, or say, or just like, if you're ashamed of the people next to you, go like, yes, Yanni, I agree with that. That agreement ignites something within you. And the word that follows after your agreement has more power in your mind than you can ever think, because you agreed with that. The power of agreement is synergy, and it will take you through the ceiling of your potential or your talent. Your potential is unlimited. Talent has a ceiling. Those of you who want to go through your ceiling in life, become more than you think you can, you develop synergy. That's relationships with people who agree with you concerning where you can go. Now, if you agree that you can't go somewhere, that will lower your ceiling and it will lower your life as well. So if you agree with a foolish prediction, oh, we're in trouble, this country, the world is in lockdown. If you want to agree with that saying, your life will be smaller and limited, and you will be in lockdown. It's confined behind bars. You think like a prisoner. You feel like one. So watch out with what you agree. But agreement is essential to go through your ceiling in life. I'm going to speak about that next week. For those of you who've got a pen and paper, means you've attended some sessions. If you don't have a pen or paper is good, but paper is very average. Have a book. Because after the week, and maybe next week, I've got no idea how long this is going to continue, but I'm prepared to go on as long as it takes. But after every session, you're going to report back, not to me. You're going to share with somebody else what you've heard, because unless you speak your mind, you don't understand your mind. You only have a mind. But the moment you speak your mind, something in you happens. You start to either agree with that or say, I don't want to speak like this. I don't like this. And parents, your work is to make your children aware with what they say and say, do you really want me to agree with that? So if a child complains, instead of saying, no, don't say that, you say to him, would you like me to agree with that? So if your child comes home and he says, Dad, this online schooling is so flippin' difficult. It's so, don't understand. I can't catch up. Imagine you say to him, would you like me to agree with what you just said? And your child will go like, what I just said, is that what I want to believe? Is that because I said it? So if I say it enough, it becomes my belief. And if I believe that, I'm in deep trouble. There's another word for trouble as well. Start with the S. So you've got to ask yourself, what are you going to agree upon after the session? Because after the session, if you're part of a family, if you're alone, you ask yourself, can I ask you a question? Then you say yes. Then say, what have you learned from this session? What have you gained? And you speak, whatever you speak. But now the key is when you write down in the first person. That means write your name. Yanni shall speak in the first person from now on. There's no third, there's no us. I am us. There's no we. I am we. Yanni is we. Yanni is we, yes. I am responsible for my own thoughts, my own thinking, my own speaking. So I would like you to practice this. Have synergy with me. So I'm not telling you be stupid or being idiot. I'm asking you, just have synergy with me. When I say something, say, like that, Johnny. Your children can look at you, but I'm asking you right now. And if the child sits there and he says, I'm going to agree with Yanni. It doesn't matter whether my parents think I'm stupid. I've got nothing to prove. So, Yanni, I like what you say. Then I thank you for that, because that synergy increased me and it increased this conversation. Now I want to come back to yesterday. Yesterday we spoke about the fourth dimension. This morning, as we had our time, we have definite routines. I want to ask you, before I continue, I want to ask you this. If your days, my days are many. I've got no idea how many, because to God, one day is like 1,000 years, and 1,000 years like one day. But I'm gonna live long. I'm actually gonna live eternal. That's why I'm so excited. I'm gonna have many days. But my question to you is, your days on earth, if they are gone tomorrow, they finished. God comes and take you just gone. What will be the memories of those closest to you? I'm going to speak about burnout today. I'm going to read you a letter from my daughter, because she experienced that firsthand. We experienced it firsthand in our home. No, it's not a disaster. We don't have a ridiculous home. It was part of our walk. It's something that had to happen, and we had to deal with it and become over it, and we master it. That's the rule of our life. There is no crisis. It's something we have to deal with. But my question is, and I'm sharing this with you personally, when my daughter was in her dark space, and I will speak about the dark space right now. Now, you don't have to be a child to be in a dark space. You can be an adult to be in the dark. I mean, burnout is not only children. Burnout is, many adults are burnout. So burnout means I'm in such a dark space that I want to cover myself with this dark cloak, and I don't want to let any light in. And that includes any person. So I push people away. Now, while my daughter was in this space, she pushed me away. So she didn't like me touching her. And I stripped I took offense very often, because I said to her, it feels like I've got an illness when I just want to give you a hug. And I was not always wise. So I told her what she did. And then she would apologize, but she never let me in. And when I read the letter today, you will understand that fortunately I'm stubborn. I'm such a stubborn dad, and I love my children so much that I never stop. Because I will not stop doing what I want to do, because you don't want me to do it if the thing that I do is love. So I will not ever withhold my love because of your anger. Yes, if it's something else, I've got to ask myself. But if I know this is love, this is the only thing I've got, love that I want to give to you, and you don't want to take it, I will give it in any case. So sometimes it spills on the ground, and that's why I lost my cool often, because the love spilled on the ground. I wanted to give it, and it dropped. But when I read the letter, my daughter will say to you, thankfully, my dad never stopped. Because at a point, it started to land again. This morning, we've got this routine every morning, non-negotiable routine, and it becomes better and better and better. I wake up 5 o'clock, I come down. When I wake up 5 o'clock, usually I give my daughter about 5 minutes, so I lie next to my wife. I just cuddle for about 5 minutes. Sometimes it's 10, 15, whatever. No, it's usually, no, it's whatever. I will cuddle, and then I will wake up and walk towards my daughter's room and just knock one time, and I will open the door, and she will be sitting in front of her study table, busy reading the word. And I will go and stand behind her, and I will put my arms around her, and I will say, good morning, my darling. In Afrikaans now, because we speak Afrikaans in our home, although my English sounds very good, I will say, hello, my pop. And then she will say, More papa. And then I will kiss her. Now I know that she didn't want the kiss for many, many years. She didn't like me liking and loving her. But I never stopped. And let me tell you, I know that when she's growing older and she's married and she's got a husband, she will forever remember I kissed her every morning. And I didn't care whether she wanted me to or not, I did it. So I hope that gives you an idea. What's the memories that your children will have when you're not there anymore? Did you give in? Did you give your love up? Or did you continue giving your love irrespective of whether they could receive it or not? Because if my love is greater than your anger, it will be your respect and your foundation in the future. Because if you can stop my love because you're angry at me, I don't really love you that much, do I? I was so angry at God when I was young, and I prayed, and I actually wanted to make him feel guilty because everybody else is so happy and just me wasn't happy. And why are you not arriving towards me? I love you so much, God. And he didn't change my sad situation into comfortable, big house, great family, everything. No, I had to go through many years of understanding that God's love for me is far greater than my anger at him. And today I love him so much, you've got no idea, because his wisdom in not giving me what I wanted to have when I needed that, or when I thought I needed that, grew me into being the person that I can be today. And I'm far from perfect. I'm thoroughly enjoying what I'm doing. But I know perfection doesn't exist, and I don't expect it. So what I want you to do is I want you to think about yesterday's conversation about fourth dimension. And the fourth dimension living is determined by two factors, fear or faith. We go into fourth dimension and living. That means seeing with our minds beyond reality. That's beyond reality. That's fourth dimension. It's beyond what you physically can see. But most of the time, fear rules fourth dimensional thinking. Therefore, we become ill. If you can change your thinking, the fourth dimensional thinking, into faith, your life will be infused with endorphins that will make you healthy, that will make you stronger, that will make you smile much more, that will cause you to lose weight if you want to lose weight, if you're overweight. Because as long as you believe you're fat, you will be. But the moment you change your mind and you start seeing with faith, something else will happen. I'm just going to give you an indication, and I want to challenge all of you at home. Become aware of fourth dimensional thinking. Just become aware of. My daughter said it this morning. I'm going to give you a couple of words. Never late, always early. Looks like a gun. Never late, always early. Which one do you choose? Yes, I discussed it yesterday. To be always early is far better than to never be late, because the foundation is fear, foundation is faith. I'm going to give you another example. I wrote that letter yesterday to the people in Guam where Victor is staying, and I wanted to write, we won't be able to buy the ticket until. And I said, no, that's fear. We will only buy the ticket once. Simple example. I'm going to give you another example. I just thought about it before the session. We have debt counseling. Wow! I hope none of you want to get debt counseling, because it puts you in a frame of mind of this guy that's in debt. How about freedom advice? Becoming free. So imagine you're a financial advisor and you stop debt counseling and you start giving freedom advice, financial freedom advice. Just think about this. Think about your feeling and your mindset as I hear the words that you do. What do? What's your work? Are you a manager? Or are you an inspirational leader? What? Do you call yourself a manager? Man, you can call yourself anything. Watch out for the traps of this world, because the world calls you stuff and you become what the world calls you. So now I want to get to the term that we all know, burnout. But I just decided I'm going to rename it. We will put burnout because everybody knows burnout, and burnout is such a complicated experience for many people in life, because many of us have experienced burnout at some stage in our lives without even knowing it. But I want to call burnout another name. What about a new season? It's time for a new season. So if you're in that place where you just reached the end, what about saying it's a new season? There's a new season that needs to open up. I'm looking for a new season. So instead of looking, I'm fed up with this, I can't take this anymore. What about the vision of a new season? And let me tell you, I didn't write new season there. I wrote a season's end. And as I thought about it, I said, no, I can do better. What about a new season? So forget about burnout. I'm going to name the session Burnout, because it will attract people, because that's the buzzword and the popular thing. I'm on burnout, or somebody's in burnout. But for those of you who continue with these sessions, it's a new season. So if your mind goes to a new season, what season? So I'm going to speak about what caused that feeling where you get to the season's end, because burnout to me is the season's end. I'm in the season's end. It's the end. I'm at the dead end. There's no future there. Let me tell you what is the key, the foundation, the source of burnout. It is the desire to be accepted. It is a lack of belief. It is doubt. It is all in your mind. I hope it makes sense. It is all in the mind. Burnout is a mindset. It is, I am not good enough. I had my ideas. I asked my daughter, Danielle, please write us a letter about the phase that you went through. I'm going to quickly tell you about my daughter. At the age of 4, she started dancing. And she's this beautiful blonde girl, afraid of nothing, because she saw me performing on stages. She had no idea that she should be afraid of performing in front of people. So to her, dance was simply getting into myself and expressing God through me. We would have church service, and I can remember it like yesterday. While we praise and worship for half an hour before church starts. While we praise and worship, I will always look at Tash and say, I wonder whether Danielle is going to be under the anointing today. Because young little girl, she will go, and when it's just that moment, she will go on the stage, not on the stage, they will go in front of all the people in the church and simply start to dance there in the front. But she danced beautifully. She literally danced us into tears because she just flowed with the Spirit. And she went to this amazing dance teacher. And this dance teacher was one of the best mentors we could have ever wanted our daughter to have, because she loved God. And because of her love of God, it also opened the door for the evil one to attack, because it was spiritual. Everything is spiritual. My daughter had the memory of an elephant, and she has the memory of an elephant. So when she does a dance, it's choreographed. Just want to pronounce it like right. When there's a dance being choreographed, Danielle will remember it immediately. So when the people will doubt, when even the teacher will doubt, they will say, just shh. And it happened many times. They said, shh, watch what Danielle does, because she will always remember it well. She was incredibly independent. She grew and she became the best. I don't want to go into her story, but her success was tremendous. She won everything. She was just, everybody talked about her. And dance became her identity. So that's the trap that said, if you're good in something, especially when you're young, you've got to be careful that it doesn't become your identity. Because if your meaning comes from what you do, you are on a stage where Satan can take your feet right from underneath you and get you to doubt for the rest of your life. So if your money or your job or your status or your position becomes your identity, be wary. Because once it's taken away, I mean, some people got retrenched. If your marriage is your identity, that means if my husband is my identity and he divorced me and I lose my identity, you will be burned out. Because your identity doesn't come from things or from people. Identity needs to be absolutely founded on the rock of what God says who you are, not what people think you are. And I want to challenge every one of you sitting here, because many of us have burnout, we don't know it. But we fight life constantly. It's a battle all the time. Where does acceptance come from? Acceptance comes from people, most of the time. Not only people, from a result. So if I win, green mark, accepted. If I lose, worry, fear, doubt. Doubt creeps in and I start looking for somebody else. But now I start to believe I'm not good enough. And then my eyes start to look for stuff that confirm that I'm not good enough. And before you open your eyes, you're in this downward spiral on the way of self-pity. And that's the depression hole that holds many people captive. And they can never be victors in life. They are victims of life. So I'm going to ask you, just if you work, what is your boss's opinion of you right now? Think about it. If you doubt that your boss likes you, if you doubt that he thinks you incredible in your work, if you hope that he does, if you wonder whether he does, there's a door open for you. Your parents, what does your parents think of you? What does your spouse think of you? What does your friends think of you? What does your boyfriend think of you or your girlfriend think of you? You see, while I'm speaking, all of you can start doubting. What do they think of me? What do they think of me? My daughter was such a great dancer, and she fell subject to the opinion of judges. In the world of dance, it's all about the judge's opinion. Because my daughter's dance teacher, tutor, chose worship music most of the dance times that they danced, some of the judges of the world didn't like it. They wanted to get to her through my daughter. So they judged my daughter. I don't care what they judged her, but they said, you are not good enough. And that was the thoughts that was implanted in my daughter's mind constantly. And although we at home, we have our sessions, sometimes through a child's life, through our lives, certain things become more important. My question to you is, what is most important to you? Which opinion, whose opinion are ruling your life? If I go back to my mindset that I shared with you on Monday, which I wrote down 24 years ago, and I set my mind with those words every day that I can think of, I will speak life into my ears because this is what God say I am. Now, I want to read to you because my time is almost up. This is my daughter's words. I'm just going to read you a couple. The devil had my mind. I started to feel safe being depressed. And then she wrote here, one of the biggest reasons I did not stay there and I was able to crawl out of it slowly, out of that deep pit, was my parents' stubborn refusal to stop loving me. They never just let me be, and as irritating as it was, and as much as I hated them, and the point of their nagging, they saved me. And then she said, getting out, the first decision I had to make was to stop looking at myself and start looking at Jesus. I had to stop feeling sorry for myself, and I had to stop with my idiotic nonsense. So I started to spend more time in the Word, and I started to see how much God really loves me. My view changed. I had many conversations. We sit in the morning, and my daughter will sit there, and she will write in this letter. She will say, I just said what people wanted to hear. I'm okay, but she will cry on her own. And I'm one, if something bothers me, I confront you. I don't let it go. Because if I don't confront you right now, we make our house hell. I confront you, but I do it in a proper way. I respect you. So I go to you and I say, can I speak to you? Can I ask you something? Then you say, obviously, yes. If you say no, I will say to you, when you're ready, let me know. And then I'll turn my back and you will get an ignore from me because you don't give me the right to speak to you. So no open door. And that's it. But eventually, if you're so hard ass, I will come to you and say, do you think this house is winning? This house is not winning. I'm not going to continue with this still staper any longer. Can I say something to you right now? And you will have your doubts because you were so hard ass against me. And you will say, oh, I don't want to continue, but I'm not the one. Fortunately, my dad came and he again stepped over the thing. My wife is always the one who will step over that bridge 3, 4, 5 times. And that's our saving grace. And I want to say this to you. My daughter wrote this. No one can do this alone. That's her conclusion. No one can do this alone. You need to change your focus. And you need to change your focus from you to God. And then you have to learn to speak words of life. So this is just the beginning of a new season. So forget about burnout. We speak about burnout, but Remember, burnout is actually a new season starting. So you reach the end of a bloody bad season. But now you've got to open your eyes and decide what is your new season going to look like. Because if you want to please people, you will be in burnout forever. You can't please people. Why do you think I'm at so many jokes? I mean, yesterday we started 15 minutes late because the technology just failed us. I'm not going to crucify myself about the mistake. Yes, I made a mistake on Sunday with my wife and the porridge, and I was an idiot, and I asked for forgiveness. So for me, you've got to understand, perfection doesn't exist. Don't try to be perfect. Start having fun with yourself, laugh at yourself, because then burnout will not take place. You will live life, you will ride the waves as they come. And when you've got the wrong wave at the wrong phase and it tumbles you and you roll out, you'll hurt yourself a little bit, put on a plaster, get healed, go back, start with the next wave. That's the way we should live life. It was great chatting to you. Have a super day. Looking forward to tomorrow's chat. I've got no idea what's coming, but what's coming is going to be great. See you tomorrow. Bye.